Hello, legends and super legends. Welcome to Veloharmony's live subscriber hangout. Middle of the week, Wednesday. It is stormy here in Central Texas. We've got a lot of rain in the area. Hope you all are doing well. It has been an interesting week so far. I basically am in recovery mode this week. This is week number 4 on my preseason plan that I'm following. And this week calls for light workouts, more rest than anything. Leg speed, spin out, the light stuff. Those of you who are in our coaching program, you know which workouts I'm talking about. So we're taking it easy, let the body recover, because there's been an intense last 3 weeks of a lot of heavy duty quality work. Gary D, welcome. Glad you could make the live session here this week. Ian Hunter, good evening. Let's see here. Hey, Ian. Ian, I saw your request to follow on Strava. I went ahead and sent that in. I'm trying to get it to where it's automated. I'm trying to link it to where all our legends automatically get approved to follow on Strava. We'll get there. James LaFleur, welcome. There was when I saw Gary's on there, and some of the comments on the website after the last group ride that we loaded. Let's see if I can find it here. There was some guy that asked a question. I laughed about it, and I had to really think about the answer to give. Gary responded along with Robert Tengler and Tony Sweet. Tony's one of our longtime legends. Tony and his 2-year-old grandson watch the channel. Guy named Willie, I think it's Willie 6. His question was if this was under the group ride from last week, and he said, I don't understand why you guys are still riding around holding onto the camera. I'm not sure, when I read the comment, I just started to laugh. Why are we still riding around holding onto the camera? There are ways you can attach it to your body or to your helmet. Like, nobody knows about that, right? That's like saying you can eat food without using your hands. Yeah, we all know that. So the answers, by the time I saw the question, there were a bunch of answers already. And Robert Tangler, our super legend, said, because attached to the bike or the helmet, the view never changes. Yeah, I just smiled because his question indicated that not only is he not familiar with filming, it's obvious he hasn't done it himself, because his question indicated that either he doesn't have an open mind or he's not exposed, but he's asking as if to say he's asking from a position of authority on filming. I mean, nobody goes, even when you go to a movie, you don't just sit and look in one spot. You're roaming, So if you fix a camera and the person is relegated to a circle in front of you, it's boring, And the thing is obvious. The only reason it's not easy to carry the camera. I'm going to be very clear. We've already talked about it here. It's not easy necessarily, but it's so much better. So it's worth the extra effort. Because I believe that if you're going to do something, you need to do it well or don't do it at all. And the reason everybody does it that way is because it is the easy way out. That was part of my response. But Gary said something that kind of tickled me. Gary said that he's already explained why they hold the camera in other videos. Okay, obviously this guy hasn't seen it. A lot of people come to find the channel. They're excited. They've watched one video. But most people don't want to invest the time in getting caught up. So Gary's bringing him up to speed. So he said, instead of nagging, that was Gary's take on it. He said, you should be thankful he's recording the rides so that you could watch and learn from the rides. Then he said, be grateful, man. He said, if it bothers you that much that they're holding a camera, make your own videos your way and teach us. And I thought that was kind of funny. And it might have been a little more antagonizing than I would have replied, but I thought it was kind of cool. But Gary basically spoke his mind. And the thing I don't understand is that if you've seen a video that was in a fixed position and you see the way we're doing it, it's pretty clear why we're doing it. You have more options. That's the reason I spent almost $400 on a gimbal to hold the camera. I'm not holding the camera in my hand. The camera is attached to a gimbal. And I did a video on there about the gimbal, the Removal S1 that I chose. And it's best for, I think, the kind of riding we're doing. But the reason is that it's stable, and whatever we see that is of interest, we simply move the handle and the camera spins in a rhythmic fashion so that the view is not deterred or obscured when the camera moves. And that's the reason. So it's like the only reason we're going to be doing it the hard way is because it's better. I mean, it just makes sense. And, you know, that's the reason I carry it. It's almost a pound. So we're carrying 1 pound extra in this world of weight weenies, obviously because it's better. So we do the extra work to carry the gimbal. I'm riding around for 5 hours with an extra pound in my pocket. That's not because it's worse. So, you know, I thought the answers were right on point. And then I added my answer there too, which is kind of cool. I don't really mind it, you know, because it's information and that's why we're here. So it was kind of cool to that's why I wanted to start with that exchange. I thought that was kind of cool because if you go through life doing things because everybody else is doing it, unless it's the best way to do it, then you're holding yourself back. Always try to think outside the box. That's really the way to go. You know, just because everybody's doing it that way may not be the only way to do it. You know, try it that way first, which I have. I used to attach it to my helmet when we had the small one, and we've done it. It's just not, it bounces around too much, especially attached to the bike. I would never put a camera on the bike. It bounces too much. And then you're stuck with just, like you said, one view. So, nah, it's not. I like the way we film, and, you know, it's just better. That's the reason why you will always have a cameraman. Even in Hollywood, all the innovations they still have cameramen. That's the reason. You can't, you know, you go to the store, they want you to do self-checkout. I always go for somebody to check me out. I don't want to check out my own groceries. That's why I go there so I can get the service. Same example. You know, you will never get rid of, there's certain things you always need people for, no matter how much you automate it. So I thought that exchange was really cool. Let's see here who we got here. Eric Nell, welcome. Howard Bassey. And then Jamal is here. Asbon, how you doing? Asbon, I saw your posting, but the system hit it on the premiere. You had mentioned something about some guy throwing a cup at you or something while you were writing. And before I could do anything, it held it for review, I guess. I'm not sure why, but anyway, about the road rage thing you talked about. If you encounter anything like that, that's assault. In the civilized world, they have verbal assault, physical assault. You throw something at somebody, it's assault. So all you do, you get the license plate and you report the assault. They'll get him. That's all you do. You don't need to confront him because you only escalate the situation. Get the license tag where possible and call the authorities. Document where it happened. Take a picture of the cup, whatever you need, and call the authorities. I know people that have done that. They will get arrested. Even if he's not charged, just the idea that you follow through, it will take care of that. So don't let that ruin your ride. I've had people throw stuff at me as well. And wherever possible, I wasn't hit or anything. Somebody was throwing something and actually missed. You know, there are a lot of idiots in the world. It's not my problem. If somebody's stupid, that's not my problem. But they need to respect my right to do what I choose to do. That's all I ask. And that's all anybody can ask. I don't interfere with other people's rights, so they shouldn't interfere with mine. That should be your attitude. Somebody throws something at you or even verbally assault you, report it to the authorities. That will fix that. Robert Tangler is in the house. James LaFleur, do you have video on time trials? No, I don't have any video on time trials. I have workout plans that have workouts that you can do to improve your time trials. In fact, I'm going to build a workout plan. People have asked for specific time trials. I don't do a lot of time trials, but it's just basically sustained effort. What our plans include efforts that you can use to improve your time trialing. You know, let's see here. I was just looking at somebody called Garbage Arts. That's another useless human being that we have on the planet, wasting time on the internet with nonsense. It's got the appropriate name. It's spewing garbage on the internet. So of course, I've permanently banned him. He doesn't belong here. It's a waste of oxygen. James LaFleur, is it possible to have different bike fits depending on the specialty that the person is focusing on? For example, I'm riding crit races versus grand fundos in the mountains versus flat centuries. No, James. The only difference in fit will be between a time trial position and a road position because of the angles of the bikes that are used. The time trial bike has angles, can be aggressive as 80, 85 degrees. And so you sit with your hips rolled more forward. In my experience, I have found that my time trial position, I produced, hey, Robert, thanks for the super chat. I produced less power in my time trial position than my road position. I produced the most power in my road position. So when I used to compete, it was back in the day when we could use the Spinacci bars. They used to have them. They used to allow you early on to use in the USCF mass start races. Then after a while, they kind of banned them. They were just little clip-ons that you didn't need pads for. And then people can use clip-on bars in time trial. Even now, the pros, like some races that would do like in the Middle East, they just took their road bike. They didn't let them use time trial bikes for some reason. One of the early tours that they have in a year, the Grand Tour. So the position on your road can be different from that. But as far as whether you're riding a Grand Fondo or whatever, it's the same position. It's the bike that you ride, the kind of bike that determines your position. Because once you got your position right, that's optimal for you to produce the most efficient power. There's no reason for you to have to change it unless you go from a road to a time trial bike. So even when I had a mountain bike, my saddle was in the same position. Now, there were times when we would lower it where you're standing more for mountain biking, but for the most part, the positions are the same. The guys that ride cyclocross, the position on the cyclocross bike might as well be the road position. The cyclocross bike just is different in terms of the use of, now people are using disc brakes on the road anyway, but they got different tires or whatever, and the gearing can be different for cyclocross, but the position is the same. Your body is putting out the power. Time trialing position, because you're more forward and leaning on those bars, and you roll forward. That's why if you look at the saddle, some of them are very short. The reason they're short is the UCI has a limit as to the distance you can have behind the bottom bracket. I think it's set at 5 centimeters. You can't be any closer. So they're shortening the saddles that the guys are using because the guys are trying to get that saddle under them. And if you use a regular road saddle with a long nose, then you will be inside of the 5 centimeters. That's why it's different. They're trying their best. If you notice, a lot of riders, when they're time trialing, they tend to scoot back during their effort. Because a lot of those guys don't spend a lot of time on a time trial bike. A lot of riders don't like the time trial bike. Now, the time trial specialists, what they do is they incorporate the use of the time trial bike in preparation when a time trial is coming up to get their body adapted to that different position, because it is different. But for me personally, and a lot of other riders I've read, they find that they produce less power on a time trial bike than the road bike. You're just sitting differently. I prefer my road position. And in fact, when I competed, I always just added a clip-on bars. I didn't have the luxury of having a special time trial bike. But I'm sure there's a reason. I don't know why they have to change it so dramatically. When guys like Le Mans and them were racing, I didn't hear that much about the position being so different. That was when they used those bikes with the big, like disc wheels, and then the smaller wheel in front and the cow horn bars. Before 89, when Le Mans brought that clip on, I think their positions were closer. But nowadays, they've focused more on the aerodynamic and closing the arms and all of that. So it's a trade-off. So at some point, you give up more than you can gain with aerodynamics. I'd much rather be able to produce the power. And I don't like to change my position so I don't have an injury. So you shouldn't have to do that. Yeah, Asborn is responding to my comment about the person throwing. He said he felt it was out of place and he deleted it. I didn't mind. I saw it, but YouTube held it. I'm not sure why. Probably because it didn't pertain to the film, but it wasn't a problem for me. It always bothers me when there is a situation where, whether somebody's going out for a run, somebody's going out for a walk, somebody's sightseeing, whatever. I don't understand why certain people feel that they have the right to infringe on another person. I just can't relate to that. And that's why we have a penal system, because there are just idiots out there that don't respect others' rights or just laws in general. And unfortunately, yeah, we have to have a penal system, especially in the US. I think we have the most people incarcerated compared to anywhere in the world. It's big business here. We have private prisons now. So people are investing in that kind of stuff. But some of the stuff that we see, and you begin to realize that's why the peace officers, it's a tough job for them. Because think about it. If every day you got up, you dealt with the worst society had to offer, it's kind of hard to switch off when you're dealing with a decent person. So their job's very hard on them. They carry that stuff home. They see terrible things. Kind of like when you go to war. There's certain things you're not supposed to do. So I respect what they do. It's not easy. And they have to deal with the worst we have. And so what we have to realize is that not everybody out there has the right frame of mind. So what you don't want to do is confront somebody to where you can get yourself in harm's way. So always look for the least escalation in any situation. You can't control what someone else does or says, but you can control how you react to it. So if somebody throws something at you or whatever, get the information and then let the peace officers handle it so that you don't get emotionally drawn into it and lose your thinking. Because when you're angry, you don't think. When you're upset, you don't think well. Then you end up doing something that you may not do if you were calm. So always, let it ride, give yourself count to 10, whatever, to calm yourself, because it is annoying for somebody to throw something at you while you're out there riding your bike or walking. You have the right to be outside. It's just rude, personally. That's what I think it is. So I've had people prosecute. I've been throwing things at me just for other situations. You pull them into court, it's a whole different attitude. And sometimes I've done it in the past, many, many years ago, just for the principle of it. It wasn't convenient, because you have to invest your time and go to court or whatever. But it gets them to realize that we don't fall. There is no bicycling planet that we fall from on the weekends to ride. They act like we're aliens from some other place because we're out riding our bikes. It's pretty stupid. We all live in the same area. We're all neighbors, really, And it's the same thing whether you're driving your car or not. In this city of Houston with the traffic, people get, they misbehave when they're in cars. I don't understand what it is. People are different when they're out of cars, not just here, just everywhere. Where everybody's out in an auditorium or whatever, it's a different thing than when they're out in the cars. They're just more aggressive and all of that. But we all live close by each other, And so you think about it. Most of the time you're driving, you end up recognizing a car that has been on that journey with you for quite a way. You guys end up going the same place for the most part. A lot of times when it's busy. So that's the way I think about it. It just comes with it. It's a mindset. And people who give it a lot of thought, you think differently and you respond differently. So if somebody cuts me off in a car, what am I getting excited about? It's not going to stop me from getting where I need to get. So you just back off, but here we get a lot of people that are immature, I guess, generally, and they have a different mindset. And then we have what they call road rage. And then it's stupid because when stuff happens, then they realize, man, I'm standing here for 2 hours over something that I could have just backed off the gas and let this person in or whatever, And I'm getting a little off target, but I just want you to realize that control your emotions because you can't control what others do. And so when people do stuff on the road, I don't, that's why I tell people don't overreact. Don't flip them off, whatever. Just don't give them the time of day. Like the guy who screamed, he didn't scream obscenities or anything. He just screamed to get our attention. He was going the other way. I pointed that out because nobody looked. We're focused on what we're doing. So I like the way that went because I don't understand what he was trying to achieve there. I guess just to get our attention, good or bad, it didn't matter. But chances are he won't do it again because, oh, these guys are riding their bike. Yeah, I mean, you know, when I'm driving my car, I don't scream at another person going the other way in a car. You look like a fool, you know. So that's the way you have to look at it. Everybody's marching to a different drummer. People have different things going on in their lives when they get out there. And so you never really know what's going on with them. Just don't get yourself drawn into their misery if they're trying to do something negative. Let's try to keep the situation at its lowest point, lowest boiling point, and move on and enjoy your ride. All right, let's see here. Randy Hongo, welcome. Valiant Flawed. Hello, good people. Back watching a lot of good ideas. Welcome to the channel. This is Cyclery, K-C-I-R-I-E. Let me see here. Let's get some with his shoulder going on. Say, hello, my shoulder hurts after a ride. Does this mean I'm too low or overreach through my handlebar? Okay. First of all, it means your fit is off. So your question is right on target. Now, for me to tell you exactly what, there is no one thing that can cause that shoulder pain. So you need to review, first of all, your reach. If it's your shoulder, your cockpit, you need to look at the stem length, stem height, the placements, the angle of your bar, the placement of your hoods, because I don't know what you're riding on for the most part, if you're on the hoods or whatever. Basically, you need to revisit your fit. Any fitter will tell you that. And what I would do is I would start with your saddle first to make sure your weight is on your rear and your feet. Because once the weight is correct, the rest is easy. Okay, so if you don't do it that way, there's a lot of trial and error. And you just endure pain for years or decades to come. So it's the bike doesn't fit you correctly, so you might be overextended, and so you don't have the bend of your elbow. Your shoulders may not be down like it should be. But that does not start with the cockpit. It starts with your sitting position, saddle height, saddle foreaft, cleat position. Because once that's set, then this relaxes. Okay, so I don't know if you've had a fit. If you've had a fit already and some fitter has your history, that's where I would send you first. If you want us to help you and you're not local, you can do our internet. We do a live video internet fit. Then we get rid of that pain in an hour and a half or so. We'll look at everything you have, your measurement before and after, and get that addressed. But that's what you need. If you don't address it, it will just get worse, because that's the body's way of telling you that I'm uncomfortable. And when you're uncomfortable, that means you're straining other things, tendons and other things. And it just gets worse because you're on that. The vibration is just being transferred to you. But it's not any one thing. The whole body needs to be dialed into where that bike fits you. Because I would start with, is the bike the correct height? Do you have the right stem length? After I've looked at your saddle height and foreaft. That's where you need to go. Your fit is off. I've made some videos on, I did elbows and so forth that you can look at. Let me see if I can find it. It's in the bike fit playlist. I will give you the bike fit playlist because that's where you can start, and maybe you'll be able to self-diagnose, but it's not easy. You know, a lot of times people will look at that and they even say, oh, you know what? I'd much rather you just do it. But let me find the bike fit playlist for you. Let's see here. Just when you get the playlist, just scroll through the videos. You will see where I'm talking about how you get your saddle height. The reason why you want to start with all of that is if any of that is wrong and you just start with the cockpit, your changes over there will not be effective, because the symptom may be up here, but the solution may be coming from where you sit. I hope that makes sense. So let me just put the playlist here. You can look at these, and if you need more, then you sign up for the, let's see here, copy link address. I'm going to put the link to the bike fit playlist on the channel. We've got everything in there that addresses fit, but it requires time to get set up. So a lot of people will either try to do it themselves, and if they get stuck, then they get help, or just get somebody to help them. Because if somebody has your history, these little tweaks are a lot easier, because fit is kind of dynamic. But the way I fit people is they're comfortable. I put them on, they do it on a trainer. So The let's see, let me put the link on the veloharmony.com under the shop. You go to cycling services, you'll see the bike fit section. And we do the remote internet fit because people asked for it several years ago. But we do it live now on live video. So basically, we're on a live session, and I'll walk you through what to do. But if you go, let me get the link for that. If you go there, it will tell you all the tools that we suggest that you have, including a little ruler with the little bubble in there you can get from any hardware store. So here's the link to the remote fit. But that's what you need. And it's well worth your time. I would take a bike fit over an expensive bicycle any day of the week. The reason being is with a bike fit, even if you currently have the wrong bike, a fitter can make this bike work for your body until you decide to get another one. And with our bike fits, you get a bike sizing in there so that you will know now. Next time you buy a bike, this is the size that will work for you. And then we give you 2 sizes up or 2 sizes down, depending on what you may want to play with within reason. But without a bike sizing, you don't know if your frame is right and all of that. And sometimes if the frame just can't be fitted to you, I'll let you know. But it's for the most part, most people are close because most of the shops, they come pretty close, But if you're going to do a big outlay and buy your ideal or your dream bike, we always recommend you get a bike sizing done if you've never had one done. But you need that because otherwise you won't enjoy the riding. Let's see here. Jeffrey Davis, our super legend, he said, could you do a video on arm and knee warmer fitting or selection for the fall, or give us a measure advice? I'm not sure what you mean by measure advice. The arm warmers and knee warmers, there's nothing that special about the fitting, Jeffrey. It's I think I've got something in the playlist for inclement weather already. I've already done that what I call cycling in challenging weather. I'm going to put the link here. Everything to do with inclement weather is in there. The manufacturers make it really easy. I'm putting the link for the cycling in challenging weather, but I will answer that this way. For example, when we got our Santini kit, Santini says if you wear extra large jersey, get an extra large arm warmer. If you wear a large jersey, get a large arm warmer. I think that's what you're going for. But a lot of the people, like even Rafa or Castelli, they have the measurement of the arm warmer based on where, your inseam, and they tell you. So if your leg length is blah, 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 if your inseam is this, here's the arm warmer for you. Because the arm warmer is not for your entire leg. But now, not all arm warmers are created equal. I see a lot of guys riding and the arm warmer is sagging and it's leaving gaps because the elasticity has worn. I think you know what I mean. Or they have an arm warmer and there's a gap between the arm warmer and the jersey because the arm warmer may have been too short for their arms. So yeah, there's not one size fit all. You need to get your size. And they have the different measurements based on, and they have diagrams. If you go on the website where we sell our arm warmers, let me find where we have, because I made it real easy there. Just to prevent people from returning things and having to deal with the logistics of that. I'm going to go into the cycling apparel. So the arm warmers that we have, let's see, I think it's under accessories. So if you buy a large jersey, we have a large arm warmer. And that way you take out the guesswork. So as far as sizing, you don't need to get too complicated about it. You just need to understand that manufacturer's sizing. And just like I talk about in jerseys, the European kits, for example, I wear a large in Rafa. Rafa is a UK company officially, for example. Okay. That sizing with Rafa, that large, transfers very well to Giordana, which I believe is a US company per se. I'm just using that as an example. Now, with Castelli, which is an Italian company, I have to wear extra large for their jersey to fit me the same way. Whether it's a race cut, a full cut, doesn't matter. Okay, so the European sizes, I had to go up one because they're cut smaller. So even their bib shorts. In Castelli, I ordered 2XL, but it fits like the Rafa XL that I wear here. Now, Rafa large can fit me. The large bibs can fit me, since we're talking about sizing. But I err on the side of the XL since it's a bib. I don't need the waist to be super tight, but I want the leg to be long because I like the long legs. And over time, I've found out what works for me, because with Rafa, it's very easy to return and not have to bear any costs per se. So once you learn what the vendor sizing is for you, it's great. So for example, since we're on that thought, let me see if I've got I'm going to grab an arm warmer. I believe I have one right here. It's one of the ones that for our patron of the month that we do. So this is an arm warmer that I have for some of the future rewards that are coming. And let me see the size here. So this is a large, classic arm warmer large. Now, while we're talking about sizing, I'm going to go to the Rafa site. There was something I wanted to show for Robert on there. I have that pulled up, so I'm going to use another tab. I don't want to lose that. Robert, I found a t-shirt. I think it's a bit expensive, but Rafa does have a t-shirt for, I think, your purposes, and actually ours as well, that I wanted to talk about a little bit. So for example, if you go to Rafa.cc, I'm using them as an example. You can get arm warmers, knee warmers anywhere, but I'm just going to use this as an example of how you size. That way it will help you. Let's go to, so when you go to Rafa, what I like about them is you go men and they've got everything broken up for on bike. And basically I'm just going to go to, let's see what category they dumped it in. They called it, let's see, they put it in riding accessory, base layer, hats and caps. They've got them by jerseys, bib shorts and tights. I like the way they do that, so you can just go to what you're interested in. I'm going to go to riding accessories. Makes it easy to find what you're looking for. Let me see if it falls in there. They've got glasses. Okay, here we go. So it's in the riding accessories. Now, they got arm screens as well, and the sizing will be the same for arm screen and arm warmer. I'm just going to go to arm warmers. I'm going to do the merino arm warmers because I have the merino arm warmers in black, even though it's off season. We don't need to wait till the fall. Now they've got small, medium, large in the arm warmers. And so for me, I'm like, that means nothing to me. Then they have a little button that says size guide. And that's what you look for. It doesn't matter which manufacturer you go to. Look for the size guide on anything you're going to buy and see what they're using as a parameter. So for example, it shows up in centimeter. I click on inches. So what they're saying is your arm, and then they have your bicep. Okay? They're saying that if your arm is longer than 25 inches, then you're a large, 25.5. If your arm is between this and this, you know, so it pretty much kind of gives you a gauge. So all you do is take a tape measure. I do the same thing. I'll show you right here. I have a tailor's tape because all the garments are different. I use this, okay, to measure. Same thing if you're buying a helmet. You literally have to measure around your head because the sizing's different. One vendor may have a helmet size large that has some sizes that will fall in the medium of another one. So you really have to nail it down when you're buying your stuff. So yeah, just find the length of your arm, and someone that even have pictures that will show you how to measure your arm. And if you have questions, you just ask their customer service because it's not that complicated for the most part. Santini makes it very easy because what they do is if you wear large, their large arm warmers will fit you. And that's how they do their sizing. They say make your sizing of the arm warmer match the size of your jersey. They'll literally tell you that. And that's what I put on our website. So don't think it's that complicated. What you may have seen, and you didn't mention it here, what you may have seen is that if somebody's riding and there's a gap, either they got its size wrong or the elasticity has worn out. They've used that arm warmer enough times to where it's just worn. I don't like to have gaps when it's cold. I like to make sure my arm warmer's up here. I measure from there down to my wrist. That's what they're asking you to measure. And so I want to make sure from there because the jersey will come over it so that you have that seal. That's what you need because they use a little silicone to keep it on your skin. That's very important. So just start with that. It should be good. All right, let's see here. Yeah, so Kissery says he will look at the videos. Yeah, start with the videos, Kissery, on the start with the length of your inseam, how you measure your saddle height, how you set the forearm. If you're not balanced in your on your saddle, all of these other parts of your body try to compensate. Believe it or not. You may be having a pain here that's caused from something else. The body tries to compensate. If your cleat is uncomfortable, you end up putting a lot of weight on your hand because you want to move that foot where you want it to be while you're riding. So you can't follow the symptoms to say, oh, the shoulder is because of something in front. It can be caused by something else. And that's why you see most fitters will say, we've got to look at your fit. Unless the fitter has been working with you before, run away from fitters that claim to know exactly what is causing your problem the first time they deal with you. Because that's not a thorough job. Because there are many things that can cause the same symptoms. Just be cautious. Okay. So David Hefferman said, I got a bike fit. When my leg is straight and the crank is lined up with the seat tube, my heel doesn't reach the pedal. Does this mean I'm up too high? Thinking about going back. uh, you could be. I mean, but you're using two different things. If you got a fit, chances are he or she didn't use the heel method. I'm hoping that they did several things. I do multiple things to dial in saddle height. What's in the video on the channel is just a starting point. The formula is what I start with. And then I have the rider ride and I watch the acceleration of their knee. Because based on the size of the person's foot, that affects saddle height, the length of the crank arm. So the formula is just a starting point. And so what you're describing about heel reaching, I've mentioned in some videos where it's a cursory way to get the saddle decent if you just want to quickly fit a bike that you want to ride home from the store or something. That's one way to do it, but to really perfect it. That's why when people come for a fit, they're wearing the shorts, shoes, and everything, so that you take out all the guesswork. Because when you're talking about your heel reaching, all of that, that's just a good gauge. That's a gauge to get you in the general vicinity. So I wouldn't use that if you already had a fit. But what gets me is that when the person was doing that fit for you, they should have asked you. Because even though I look at somebody, I've been doing it since 1995, for a long time, I still ask them, how does it feel? And I have them ride different gears, heavier gears, whatever. And I can see when they're driving, whether their body's moving. Like I talked about, what's his name, Michael, arching his back during the ride. I look to see movement when the effort changes, because that's a sign the fit is off. Okay, so I don't know why your fitter didn't do that, but definitely go back. Since you've already spent your money there, they should give you follow-up. When we do a fit, the person has a month, because I want people to go ride right away. I don't want you to do the fit and put the bike up. You got a month to go ride and give me feedback, but you should be able to tell. When people are in the studio on the trainer, I tell them this is how it's going to feel on the road. So don't be shy. You need to tell me if something's off. I'm going to get you where I think you should be. And then I have them go through the gears, spinning, high cadence, heavy gear, low cadence, different things. I put them through to see weaknesses in their position. That's what I'm looking for. And once I've got it to where they're stable, then we do the front of the bike and relax and get this upper body to where the stem and the bars need to be. So if somebody has done a fit for you, not being able to put your heel on the saddle does not necessarily mean your fit is bad, because those rules don't work for everybody. If everything else feels good when you're clipped in, then I wouldn't worry about that. But if that's a problem, then yeah, check them out. So Richard Thompson is saying, I know you enjoyed the little details Rafa puts into their garments. Let's see here. There's something I saw that caught my eye. Yeah. I know you enjoy the little details Rafa puts into their garments. One I think you've missed is a French word on the midweight, I guess, LS jersey. I won't spoil it for you. On the pump or on the pump loop in the pocket. I didn't miss that. I don't talk about the same things all the time. We have an entire playlist of reviews that I've done, Richard. That pump loop has been discussed. It's there, but it's not in every jersey they do. They don't have a particular pattern as to which jersey they'll put it in. There's a jersey I'm doing this week, and it's in there. And the reason I'm doing it is because somebody saw it on a group ride, and they asked about it. I think Stefano Mancini, one of our legends here. So I promised them I would do a review. I have a lot of jerseys I haven't reviewed. But the loop is there for you to flip your pump. I've talked about it on group rides as well as on reviews. But some of their jerseys don't have the pump loop. The training jerseys don't have them. The flyweight, the protein flyweight aero block that I'm going to do this week has them. Some of the winter merino jerseys have them. It's a crapshoot as to which will have it and which won't. They just put that in there. I use it when it's there because I like it, because the pump won't slide out easily. Not the pump I use is not an issue because it's swallowed up by the pocket. I use a very short to peak high pressure pump. The thing about it is that I try to focus on the function of the jersey for what they're advertising. Like when I did the last review about the lightweight brevet, so they want to call it lightweight brevet. That's why I took the premise of comparing it to the merino wool brevet. That merino wool brevet, much above 15C, you get them comfortable. It's for cooler weather. And that was my reason for trying the lightweight brevet. I was like, okay, what did they do that's different? Because it looks the same. And they hit the ball out of the park. So I was hooked. I liked it so much. I ordered I already have the orange one. It came in, I think, was it Friday? I think, yeah. So no, I didn't miss it. And maybe there may be things that I missed, but the review is to get people interested in the function of the jersey, and they can go to Rafa.cc and check it out. Now, I will caution you. The reason I do the reviews like I do is a lot of times Rafa behaves like they're not trying to sell these jerseys. Trust me, I'm in their industry, what they call industry purchase program. So when I buy something, I buy it at retail price, and I get a discount because I have a what they call an industry purchase program account with Rafa. Anybody who's in the cycling industry, they give them a discount. And that encourages me to buy that stuff before it's on sale. So I buy stuff that I'm interested in, and then I present it to the channel. It's something new. This is less than a year old. I just signed up maybe 6 months ago, and they're still working on the program. But the point I'm trying to make is that I fuss with Rafa customer service because I tell them that sometimes you guys act like you're not trying to sell the product because they don't tell us enough about it. So a lot of things I just have to kind of figure out and stumble on it. Some of the write-up, they don't have enough detail in there. It's like, who's the marketing guy? Are you not? I said, these are things that will sell your product. Why don't you put it in the write-up so that people that are interested in the product can want to buy them? So there are a lot of things they leave out. And yeah, maybe I left out something, I don't know, but I just wanted to talk about that pump loop. So I don't talk about it on every jersey, but most of the people that see the reviews here. So you got to, and there are times when some of my reviews I will read, they have stories in some of the jerseys. Lately, they haven't been putting stories in there. I like the stories. I will read the stories they'll have in there. And it varies because, I don't write a script for anything I do on this channel. And so that's kind of what it is. But I fuss with them all the time because I don't feel they give us enough information. A lot of stuff I got to figure it out. I do like what they do with jerseys, but a lot of times you got to figure out, why did they put that there? What was the point of that? And some of the stuff I'll question. I've even questioned the need for a rain vest here on the channel. Then I went and bought one and saw the need. Because they didn't even put it in there to say, hey, even though you have a rain cape, there might be a time when you're riding and it's warmer and you don't really necessarily want to take the rain cape, because the rain cape might as well be a jacket, and that kind of stuff. So I fuss with them all the time about it because I feel like they're not. I guess, I don't know. I don't know if they're just resting on their laurels or, they're not really trying hard. I told you, you need to put more information in there to push these products, But yeah, I do like their stuff. It's not the only thing I like. Don't get me wrong. My issue with the other guys is that I've ordered Castelli jerseys in the past. The fit was so inconsistent. So one size, like a medium, because I ordered the large and then the XL, thinking that, I couldn't go wrong. And the XL was too big compared to any other XL, because I have other Santini jerseys. Their sizing is so inconsistent from fabric to fabric that I'm like, come on, guys, what are you doing? So it gets tiring. And they don't have the luxury like Rafa, where everything you buy comes with a ground shipping return coupon that doesn't cost you money. If they were all doing that, yeah, then I would try stuff. And I've even talked about La Passion. In fact, I just ordered a La Passion lightweight PSN jersey, the one really light, but I ordered it in what they call teal or turquoise because I don't have that color. And I thought, man, that would really pop. Then I got a matching sock that was close to it from them as well. But with La Passion, you better be sure, because any return comes out of your pocket. It doesn't matter why you're returning it. They charge you. They use DHL, and their service is good. It gets here quickly. But when you return it, it costs you. Well, Rafa is free. In fact, while we're talking about Rafa, today I just got $120 voucher from Rafa for a pair of protein bib shorts that I bought in 2016. Those of you who've been on the channel, wow, that was early on when I was doing those winter reviews. I had a bib short that was brown. It had faded. The dye had faded so much from the Lycra that it looked brown. And so they said they couldn't repair it, because I sent, now the way they do it, which is even better. Before, you had to send the garment back. Then they would tell you whether it can repair or not. Now you fill out things online. You take a picture of your garment, and then they tell you whether they can repair it or not. So you still have the garment, and they give you a coupon if they can't repair it. So they said they could not repair it because most of the black part was brown. It's so old. They're like, and we don't make those bibs anymore. They have the bib shorts too now. So they said the best they could do was to give me a $120 voucher. I have 12 months to use, and it's not applicable with any other discounts or whatever. But I thought, man, that's pretty good. I paid $260 for the short in 2016. After using it for 3 years, you guys know how much I ride. They gave me $120 back. I can't argue with that. Nobody else is doing that. And that's a repair thing they have for the life of your garment. The only challenge is you got to find the order number. So I had to go through a lot of the order history online to find that order number before, so it took a little bit of time on my part. But once I found the order number, no brainer. So I have the voucher for whatever. It's not just for a short. It's just voucher that you can use. So it's all those little things that has me endeared towards them. And I'm hoping that the other guys will do something similar. I've done reviews of La Passion stuff here. They make some decent stuff. But I can't continue to try their stuff like I do Rafa because it's expensive. Because if you have to send anything back, you're out. I want to thank somebody just did a super chat. C. Kular. Let me jump to it. And those of you who I'm not getting, feel free to do a super chat like C. Kular is doing here. It helps me keep things going because I focus on the super legends and my patrons. These are the guys that give me the time to be able to divest from the other business stuff I have to invest here. My goal long term is to do this full time and be available to help everybody in cycling because we've never had something like this. And I struggled when I was a young cyclist because everybody looks down at you funny, but they don't share information with you. They want you to keep struggling. And I want to get rid of that as much as we can. He says, he or she, I think it's a guy, I'm a wider, stocky guy. Yeah. What is the loosest cut Rafa jersey, if any, that may fit me and not be super tight? Okay. While I'm talking about this, C. Kulai, go ahead and post your chest size down there. But I'm going to go ahead and answer your question this way. The loosest stuff is what they call classic. That classic line. The pro team is more of a race cut. Now, doesn't mean that the protein will not fit you. That's why I wanted you to just put your chest size there. because the Pro Team is cut race fit, which I like because when I'm riding here, even in summer, we have a lot of wind here. We're by the Gulf. We're an hour from the Gulf. We get a lot of wind. That's why it's raining like crazy here this week. Make sure that you can always size up, even in the ones that are cut, race cut, and you can get one that will fit you nice and snug. I don't get things to fit me to where they're uncomfortable. I just want them to where they're holding my body so when I load up my pockets, the contents don't swing when I'm riding. I hate that because I like to carry my food and other stuff. In the summer, I carry a third beat on or bottle. So just remember that you can still go with any of them, but you're going to have to familiarize yourself with how your body relates to the sizing in Rafa. Remember the example I just made about I could wear a large bib in Rafa. I don't. I wear an extra large bib on purpose because it gives me longer length in the legs, the way I like it. And the waist is still snug because of those straps. So I played around with that. And I was able to do that because of their free return. Every order with Rafa, they send it with a FedEx ground thing. And what I do, I keep it in their envelope because they send a black envelope with it. I have a bunch of the return shipping stuff. I just keep them because they don't expire. And you can use them for any purpose, whether you're returning, repairing, it doesn't matter. So just remember that you can size up because if you look at some of the reviews, they will tell you whether it runs neutral or runs small or runs large. But generally, Classic is loose, Pro Team is tighter in the same size. That's the way you want to gauge it. The core is even wider, but it's that's like the introduction stuff. And I found that the core jersey tended to be warmer than the other ones. And where I live, I want cooler stuff as much as possible, except for the winter time. So just keep that in mind. So always know that you can go up. But if you use that sizing chart and you're not at the bottom of that size range, let's say if they say large is from, let's say 40 to 42, and then you're not the 40, if you're not the 40 and you're the 42, chances are it will be nice and snug. But if you're on the bottom of the size, 40 to 42, and you bought a large, it will probably be looser on you because you got 2 inches to play with. The sizes cover between 2 to 3 inches, thereabouts. So pick a size where you're on the bottom of it. Doesn't matter what it is. Classic, Pro Team, doesn't matter. Pick a size where you're on the bottom as far as the jersey, and then you will get the looseness you want. But the classic cuts are looser. Oh, Chris Barron says the guy was talking about a French word on the loop. Merde. Yeah, I didn't miss that. I just didn't talk about it. Rafa has all this stuff that they throw in there. Rafa has a lot of history, a lot of the stuff that I do, it gets me excited about it. Rafa goes, the guy who started Rafa is a cyclist. So I didn't talk about on purpose because this is a family channel. Merde has a lot of translation, so it can be shit, which I didn't want to talk about. In Spanish, the phrase mucha merde, I just pulled it up over here. But then also, it can also mean break a leg or good luck. So depending on the audience, I saw it on there. I just didn't choose to mention it. Okay, so he's a 47. Okay, let me pull that up here. I want to do that for you. I want to thanking you for doing the super chat. Let's go over here. So you're 47. So you would go to men, and then you say jerseys, for example. And I'm going to just pretend I'm shopping for you. When you do that, it gives you a summary of all the latest stuff. So, for example, I'm going to do the Brevet Lightweight. I'm just going to click on it. Brevet Lightweight jersey. So if you're a 47, when you go to the jersey, they got the colors that you want. Then they got the size guide right below the colors. click on the size guide to familiarize yourself. It takes you to the chart. It defaults in centimeters. I'm gonna click inches, and then basically you're 47. Okay, so for you now, you're not even showing up because they've got an XXL of 45. So that would be too tight for you. Since you're a 47, let me see what the top sizes go off. So in the brevet, it's really loose. So they stop at 45. So they don't have a size 47. Let's see here. Let me look at the classic jersey. See, I'm going to look at core and see what the top size for the core is. But that's where you start. And you will get an idea of whether, because the cuts are different. I had a problem with the core. Paul did too. Paul will buy the core, size large. And large normally fits in. The entire middle was loose, just flapping around. It's like he had 3 or 4 inches worth of fabric on the same size that used to hold him tight in other jerseys. So I ended up returning my core jersey. That's why I'm going to the core to see what they're doing with the sizing, because it does vary. All right, so let's see, inches. Okay, so everything is showing as 45, but I think if you try the core or the classic, it might fit you because the core is looser than the other ones. The core jersey or the classic jersey, and then you would do an XXL. That would probably be the size closest to you. And give that a try. When it comes in, don't bother removing the tag. Just put it on first. See if it fits you. Because if it doesn't work for you, you can send it back. But those are the two. Since you're a 47, I would say XXL in classic or core would fit you. Because the pro teams cut even smaller. So you stay away from the pro team and you should be good. All right. Paul Decker just joined us from Melbourne, Australia. Welcome, Paul. Your countryman, what's his name? Ron Denise had some good legs in the Tour de Suisse. I watched him climb that mountain with what's this guy? The Ineos guy, Bernal. He looked because I've known Ron Denise as a time trialist. It was great to see him climbing that well, the high peaks, you know. So let's see here. Yeah, so Chris Barron put the Merdi on there, and what happened is, I don't know if you guys can see it, it's hidden. And the reason it's hidden is the very reason I did not mention it when I was doing the jersey. The translation can vary. So that's why YouTube, I didn't put any restrictions in there, but YouTube hid MERDE with the exclamation, because depending on the translation, you know, it can be considered a 4-letter word. But it's loosely translated sometimes as good luck or break a leg, you know. So Robert Tangler is, I had mentioned the t-shirt. Now, here's the thing. I kept the page up, Robert. I found it today. There's a couple of people at the Rafa customer service that I deal with all the time. And so they let me know. You had mentioned, Robert, at the last, I don't know if it's a live session or the premiere, but I remembered that you talked about, too bad Rafa does not make anything for trike riders without pockets. And so I sent a note to them. Just mentioned. Rafa watches our review. They like the Veloharmony reviews of their kit. They really do. They're very familiar with it. The guys in the customer service, because when I called to sign up for the IPP industry stuff, they already knew. Because you have to prove that you're in the business. You got to prove that you have a website or a store or something like that. You know, they're not playing before they hand out an account for you. And so I didn't have to do all of that. I just told them what I wanted to use it for. And, you know, it was done in a matter of hours. So they replied and they gave me a link. Robert, I'm going to put the link here. It's a $90 t-shirt. It's a bit high, but from the reviews that I read, I didn't even need to read the reviews, but it's a t-shirt that's like the flyweight jersey for our heat here. I'm going to copy the link and put it right here. Let me see if that will work. Yeah, that should work. But it's just something about buying a $90 t-shirt. You know, I don't mind the jerseys and stuff, but that's me. You know, I want some pockets and other things, but for your trike, I know you don't need it. What I like, I will talk about some of the good stuff. That's the link for the t-shirt. Those of you who may want to see it where you are, if you can. They have several colors, and what caught my eye was the orange color. They have an orange. They have one that looks like the Navy Brevet jersey, which I thought was really neat. It's made out of some flyweight material, just like the summer stuff we have. So that made me think about, oh, this will work. They call it the Explore Technical T-shirt. That's the name. And so they have the sizing and all that. So for me, I'd get a large, but I would probably wear that just around the house, going to the store and stuff like that, because down here it's hot most of the year. But I'm not paying $90 for the t-shirt. I'm going to wait till they put it on sale. So I flagged it. I put it on my wish list. It's beautiful. I mean, all the reviews are very positive. So it would be perfect for somebody who rides a trike, or Tony Sweet that has the Velomobile, because just like the guys in the trike, he doesn't need pockets behind there. So it's just a regular t-shirt, but it's a very breathable t-shirt. So this time of year, Robert, it would be perfect for you. And they have 3 colors that they come in. They got the navy and the blue, and it's got reflective bands just like the Brevet jersey I was talking about. That's how it looks. So I thought, let me just mention this. So that's one t-shirt that they make that I would ride on a bike or in a trike. It's designed for you to be outside riding or walking. It's not just for show. So and they mention literally that it's for on and off bike activities. And they teased us on the layout because they have a color in the display that is not offered. They have a green with white and red bar, which look really nice. There's a model wearing it, but it's not one of the choices they have up there. I don't know why they do that. So maybe it was offered in a prior season, because they didn't just come out with this. It's been there. But for me, I'll wait to get some kind of a discount to get it. It's a bit much for a t-shirt, but it's a special t-shirt. So yeah, I think that would be ideal for you, Robert. That would be perfect, because you'll be comfortable in that. And they have the guy wearing the cargo pants where you can carry stuff on the side of your leg. That's what he's wearing. So even for a guy who's riding a trike or a velomobile, that would be perfect, because the pants have pockets on the sides. Those cargo pants that they have, that they showed it in there. So check that out, Robert. I think that would be something to keep on the radar. All right, let's see here. Let's see, Randy Hunger. Well, if it's on the loop for the tire pump, we can guess what the translation is. That's funny. So Sequela said he'll give the classic. I'll check the sizing. I really love Robert products. Yeah, I think that the classic and the core may be loose enough, but just try it. Just because they said 45, but I think the way the classic is cut, you might have an inch or two to play with, because the size that I buy, let me get their they've been changing the sizing. It used to go up to 42, and I think they're stopping at 40 or something like that, but I did not change my size. My chest is still 42, but I can wear what they claim is a 40 or 40.5. Let's see here. Yeah, so they claim that the large, let me find a jersey. I think it goes from 39 to 40.5 or something like that. Let's see. And I still wear it, even though I have a 42, and it fits me fine. Fits me really well. You want your jersey to fit you nice and snug. You don't need it loose for any reason. It doesn't need to be uncomfortable, but it doesn't need to be loose. So let's see here. I'm trying to see if they've got a size chart under these jerseys. They usually do. Let's go back. Find a jersey that they have a size chart under. Let's go back to the Brevet lightweight. They're so inconsistent. I bug them about it all the time. Not all their jerseys have the size guide on there. They assume that you know. Okay, so here we go. I found one that does. So XL. So here we go. They're claiming that their large jersey now, they've got it listed as a size in inches, 40.5 inches. Well, I'm a 42. That's an inch and a half. So I think you will be okay, CQ. I think you'll be okay with the XXL because I'm a 42 and I'm wearing that so-called 40.5 even in protein. And then the XXL is a 45. So that means if you want to be consistent, you've got about an inch and a half to 2 inches to play with. So that means the XXL will fit a 47 nicely. So give it a shot and let us know. All right. Let's see here. You're welcome, Robert. Yeah, give it a shot. I think you'll be good. I think you'll be good because it used to be 42 for a large and they went down to 40.5. I didn't change. I just kept ordering the same thing and it fit. You guys see how my jerseys fit. So yeah, they seem to be so inconsistent. There was a guy named the Dark Install that used to give Rafa a hard time. You know, he said they claim his protein, but it didn't last that long. You know, he put a lot of kilometers on it or whatever. And my thing was nothing lasts forever. I just like the fact that there's no questions asked. You buy something for Rafa, you keep your history. If you buy it online, you got to go back and get the order number. For the life of the garment, they will repair it. If they can't repair it, they give you a discount to get the new one. Like I just explained with the shorts. So I'm sitting on money that they've given me that I can use towards something else on a 3-year-old short. I used it so much, it was no longer black. It was turning brown. And the lycra had faded, the dye. And they've changed that dye. The new Rafa short, the bibs too, are completely revamped. They didn't just rename it. It is different. Better. Even the lycra is better. So, for example, I used the white jersey that you saw the review on with the older bib that I got the discount on, and the dye rubbed off on the jersey. Now, I was able to wash it. It came out. But the newer bibs, they don't put any dye on the jersey. So that just said that they've improved whatever they're using to make the new lycra so much better. You know. All right, let's see here. And let's see. Yeah, and Azir Khalid just mentioned some of the Brevet line is a bit looser as well. He's right. The winter Brevet jerseys that I said 15C and up, it will be too warm. They're made out of merino wool. They're nice. I like them because even when it warms up a little bit, up to let's say 15, 18C, it's still tolerable in the winter. They're loose enough to where they put cinches on the side. And I mentioned that in that review, so that you can cinch it when you load up your pockets because they are designed loose. So yeah, Brevet jersey are designed loose. I cannot stress enough how nice it is to just try their stuff. If it doesn't fit, you just send it back. And, you know, it doesn't cost you anything. In fact, I use the same plastic bag they come in. When I'm not sure, when I cut the bag, I just cut the top, try it on. If it doesn't work, I put it back in the same bag, peel off the old label, I'll put the new label on top of the old label and send it back. So, yeah, it's easy to try stuff. But at least you want to be close. You don't want to just be trying, you know. So I think you will be okay there. So, yes. They vary so much that the joke was there was a jersey made in Portugal on the core team. Paul had bought one. It was okay. Then the other color, just another color of the same jersey, it was looser. I'm like, what, they're not using rulers in this country or whatever? You know, one was made in Portugal, one was made somewhere in China, I think. And there was a variance in the sizing. So, yeah. So Cesar Fernandez wants to know which Rafa jersey is a race-tight fit. The pro team jerseys generally have a race cut. So that's where you go. And that's why they're calling it pro team. The classic, looser. And then, of course, the classic includes the original Rafa standard merino jersey with that, you know, line on the arm. So, yeah, pro team is race fit. All right, let's see. Oh, Paul is here. I didn't see him. Okay. Paul said maybe a Rafa class. Nah, it's I was trying to. I don't know when you came in, my brother. I was just trying to answer our super legend because Robert Tengler had mentioned that Rafa didn't have a T-shirt or jersey for guys who ride tracks and other stuff. So So that was part of the thing. And I don't know how we got into that, but it was basically, oh yeah, and we had a super chat gentleman that wanted to try Rafa because he likes the stuff. And that's the problem. I don't think they go big enough. I've gotten a lot of requests through the website from people who are much bigger than this gentleman, much bigger than 47. And they do big and tall stuff at other vendors, but they're like, why doesn't Rafa have that? And maybe it might be something that you consider. Yeah, the rain's just started. It's been raining on and off. I mean, yesterday was wet all day. I was very tired yesterday, so I must have had a heavy weekend or something on and off the bike. So I just rested. And so after this, I might spin for an hour indoor because it's just raining and it's thundering. We've got lightning shows all over the place. But the biggest thing is that it is mild temperature-wise. The only thing is once the rain passes and the sun comes up, it's going to be like a steam bath. That's why we're talking about these flyweight stuff. This time of year, I wear nothing but the lightest stuff. It does make a difference. It's sticky down here. Temperatures are reasonable. I think it was actually hotter in Berlin than it was here. I was looking at CGTN, the Channel Global Television Network, and they give the world weather. And I think Berlin was like 97 or something. I was like, man, I didn't know it got that hot over there. So the world is changing. The temperatures are really whacked because they're hotter than us, But our biggest thing is humidity. It's not the number of, we get to like 93, but the humidity is so high that it feels hotter, So let's see here. We have Asbon is saying to check out Endura clothing. The sizing up to 51 should cover most. Yeah, I have some Endura stuff